Welcome back. The next conversation will excite you, and I'm sure about it, because now Ghana will begin refining gold locally following the inauguration of Royal Gold Ghana Limited. It was done by the Vice President last week to ensure that Ghana now refines its own gold. Now, according to information available, Ghana has secured the partnership with a foreign entity. Now, we understand that that particular thing should be of good news to you, right? There's also, but it is now a source of growing concern for some industry watchers. Former AGI President Dr. Prince Kofi Klucheson and President of the Africa Development Council have both questioned the equity share between the state and the private investor, who we understand holds a chunk of the percentage of the shares. Now, in the new partnership, Ghana will retain just 20% share of the deal, while an Indian firm holds 80% share. We'll hear from them shortly, but as they join us for a conversation on this. Right now, though, listen to Imani Africa Vice President Bright Simmons, who has questioned why government would launch a gold refinery with much fanfare when it's struggling to secure gold for refining.
Because if you have so many refineries in Ghana, why select this specific one, which is not even the biggest or the most sophisticated in Ghana? Why will you? So that got us digging. What is about this refinery that is unique? And then we learned that the Bank of Ghana is going to shift the gold purchasing program to this. So that's a huge advantage to be given to a brand new refinery with no track record, when there are others that have been trying to make this work in this country for a while. Digging further, we then realized that the company that they say is coming to partner PMC, or at this stage, the Bank of Ghana, to do this refinery work, does not have the capacity at all. It's a quarry. They run some quarries in Ahmedabad and Gujarat and a few states in India. It's a pretty small company that runs quarries. They quarry stone, and the stone is sold to tile producers. Why would they be interested at all in a refinery? Then we find out that they also don't actually have any personnel at the Royal Ghana Gold Refinery, and obviously they wouldn't have it because that's not their expertise. Who actually has that? It turns out it's a small consultancy. It's a boutique management consultancy in India, based in New Delhi, called Rare Tech. So this is basically a one-man shop. It's by a guy called Sandeep Chadha and his relative. Now, Sandeep Chadha is the technical person that is actually doing this, but he has nothing to do with Rosie, the company that is said to be, funding this, is supposed to be patronizing the government. That raised a lot of fascinating issues. So you have some independent consultants running this. You have, and as you know, PMC is chaired by the Eastern Regional Chairman, or former Eastern Regional Chairman of the ruling party, and he chairs this new joint venture. So that all of that raises your antenna. So we say, okay, let us find a lot more about Rosie. So we commissioned an inquiry, and here I'm talking about Imani, and we've got a huge amount of information now about this company. One, apart from what is publicly known, which is that it's a quarry and not a gold, not even a gold mining company, not talking about a gold refinery operating company. It's also actually a company that's really struggling financially. And given that all our refineries are struggling financially in Ghana, all the big ones at least, the smaller ones are doing well, the big ones are all struggling. Why do we need another financially struggling company? So to give you an example, its last financial statements, audited financial statement, the company made $3,000 in revenue, and it made $250,000 in losses. Why would such a company want to invest $20 million? Now wait for the banger, wait for the frightening aspect of it. We examined the company's book in great detail. The company has never made any investment overseas worth any amounts to be interested. And because, as you know, you cannot lie to your auditors if you are investing money overseas, either in a joint venture, a subsidiary, or some other form. You have to tell your auditors in your auditor statements. And they have to come either in the form of a shareholder loan or capital investment, a private placement. You have to record it. We searched everywhere, all the audited books for the last 6 years, during which period this refinery has been under construction. But this refinery started construction in 2018, right? So during that period, if this company had made any investment in this local refinery, it would be in its books. It's not. So we are really confident at this stage to say that Rosie Royal is not the investor.
Well, joining us now is Engineer Dr. Achu Sogbe, who is President of the Africa Development Council, Dr. Prince Kofi Klucheson, who is Consultant to Africa Development Council, also former President of the Association of Ghana Industries. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doc, let me start with you, Dr. Klucheson. Why should we be worried if government says, I want to go into refining gold, but I want a foreign partner to help me do this because I don't have the resources?
The first question is why should we not be worried? You know, why should not be worried? The goal is not for government, it's for Ghanaians, it's for citizens, it's for areas. So government woke up one morning and said that I am partnering with a foreign private partner, you know, not even a local, you know, private business person. And these are the terms and conditions without even disclosing or exposing, you know, the reason for that or the deal. We have every right to be worried as Ghanaians because the goal is ours.
Yeah.
The final product is for the market. The revenue comes to us first, and then somebody takes the other one. So every reason to be worried.
Yeah. But I mean, is that the reason why you're worried about this partnership?
Everybody must be worried, including you, because it's not a good partnership. You know,
Why is it not?
government business is not to do business. Government business support the private sector and the citizens to do business, and the government collect their taxes, you know, and then create the value, you know, for the country. You see, when you look at the history of Ghana from Ashanti Gold Fields today, the story will tell you similar thing happens for Ashanti Gold Fields when traders from Salt Pond were trading and in gold, and then the buyer they realized that there's opportunity. So he came here, you know, with 250 pounds, you know, and then went to see where they were doing it, and then the rest is history. You see, Ghana is not poor. Ghana has a lot of knowledge, especially the government. You see, when you look, when you take the veil off and look at this government, there are a lot of knowledge, there are a lot of good lawyers, a lot of economists, or whatever. Sometimes when this happens like this, it's far-fetched to believe that it's happening. And if we do not do something about it right now, the future generation will suffer for it. You see, in the whole world, in business, the maximum shareholding is 100%. You know, and as per our company's code, if you leave the veil, you realize the reason why we must not do what we have done. Because in Ghana, our shares by the law is of no par value. You know, so it can be 20%, whatever, it have no value. That's per the company's code. Now, another thing the company's code requires that if you do not have at least about 25%, 20%, the majority takes you as nobody. You know,
Okay.
You know, it's negligible.
Which means that in the current arrangement, which is 80-20, the majority takes
They can
Ghana
override you,
as-
they can overrule you, they can kick you out, they can do anything by our laws.
Okay.
You see, so business is not about the product, it's about the laws that governs in the business. You know, there must be shareholders, there must be directors, so and so. And then there must be a disclosure of a deal because the thing belongs to the state. Where the so-called partners are coming from, what are the laws there? Can the same law exist in their country where, you know, the Ghanaian partner have 80% and then they will have 20%? The answer is no. It never happens anywhere. So there must be a minimum sovereign equity for Ghana.
Yes.
You know, when I was a year president, we pushed, you know, that at least there must be a minimum of 30% equity for Ghanaian. You know, but at least a minimum. You see, you know, so that we go on from there. The faster we got was what we call local content laws. What they do, Talo and others, they start bringing Ghanaians abroad, hiring them, bringing them here to qualify for the local content law, and eventually it vamooses and it's a control. You see, if you look at the background for all these companies in Ghana, how they came here, it will amaze you. Those that are in business, you know their backgrounds. You see, none of them, for as long as I've been in business in Ghana, I've not seen any business that comes to Ghana with a huge capital, you know, and then get some. Sometimes it's a $1 company, you know, from the offshore.
Okay.
It's a capital, you know, the capitalization is an offshore for $1. If you go to the bank or they will tell you bring 3 years account or whatever it is before they'll grant you access. But they take our sovereign, you know, paper. We got sovereign Ghana from Parliament. Why do they need to get a parliamentary approval for before they go to business? This deal, who really funded? Is it Bank of Ghana? Why should Bank of Ghana, with all the money that we have, does not control 80%, and then the foreign control 20%? You know, you're a young man. You know, I mean, think through it. So, who is the equity holder? Is it the Bank of Ghana? We are the mineral fund who are putting $5 million in lithium and other things.
Yeah.
You know, and then
The
$5 million.
Minerals Income Investment Fund.
Yeah, you know. So why are we here? 3-4 months to election. I don't think it's a good deal, and we need to look at it. But you see, and then the glamorous way they do it, you know, affects people because people like me, we suffer through these kind of issues. You know, we don't want to go back. But I think that the right thing might be done for the current and the next generation.
Engineer Dr. Sogbe, I mean, Dr. Klugerson obviously is questioning why we are not controlling, why government would bring in a foreign partner. But do we have local companies with the capacity to do this?
Thank you very much. So before I delve into issues like this, the general leadership crisis across the continent is due to, I mean, lack of industrial, drive that can absorb the youth, right? So state-led industrialization is the key to stopping all these crises, the one happening in Kenya, now Nigeria, because of lack of state-led industrialization.
Explain that bit.
Good. If I say state-led, for example, typical example is this oil refinery. The state has every capacity to say, come on, let's establish an oil. Typical example.
So this is a gold refinery.
This gold refinery. Typical example is the Ghana gas. During the Atamel's regime or NDC, during that regime, what happened is they went in for loan, $1 billion invested in, instead of flaring the gas, they want to channel it into business. So 100% state-owned. Before maybe at the moment, I don't know if they float shares. That's how we do it, state-led. The state, first of all, invest in it, float shares. But here, at the moment, we are having 80-20% in favor of foreigner. What that means is that every business done here is changed into that ratio, condemning the local currency, capital flight. And we will go around borrowing to augment and saying we are having foreign reserve within. Meanwhile, we have the opportunity to hold 80-20 in favor of the state.
Do we have companies who are into refinery in Ghana who could have done this?
So what happened is that, for instance, I still keep referring to the Ghana gas. Ghana gas, we just started. From the ground, the president said, you see, the main reason that our constitution gives so much power to the presidency is just because the president can sit down and say, look, come into my University of Science and Technology, get us engineers. Whichever institution, let's go into this. The constitution has empowered the president to do that. So establishing a gold refinery is nothing but, you mentioned whether we have the capacity. Yes, we, the Africa Development Council, we are a group of consortium made up of, from experts from archaeology to geology.
Okay.
We have the engineers, we have all it takes to have any government across the continent to go into any hardcore industrialization agenda. So we have the men, it is up to the presidency to champion and command, and it is there. So we are appealing to authorities that the 80-20 in favor of foreign partner is against Ghana's progress.
Okay.
It should rather be 80-20 in favor of the state. Anything other than that, we are going to resort to taxation. And you know what taxation goes, our former president, the late Nkrumah, he said what? Development must be financed more and more from production or productivity and less from taxation dues that may bring burdens on people within communities that will not be able to afford. So where do we go taxing, Kelewele, watches sellers, when we have the opportunity to hold 80% share in our gold refinery?
But Dr. Klugerson, I don't know if I got it right, but I heard you mention that what is government's business in doing business, right?
Yes.
So why would government have to worry itself with controlling 80% of it if the government has no business, no business in doing business?
Business to empower. See, anytime I come to this studio, I'm very excited. You know why? The owner of this studio, is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Anytime I come, all of you have various talents. So the question you ask first, whether we have the qualification, the answer is yes. I just came here from, speaking to Accra Technical University, 70th anniversary for the British Council Hall. If you see the knowledge base that is there, you'll be amazed, about, as I told them I was coming to this gold thing. You see, look, let us allow Look, when you get Chinese contractors, you look at them on the street. The supervisors wearing cap is the Ghanaian. They are concerning the bridge. They're the one concerning the road and everything. But the power of the person there, from the whoever owns the company, who is being paid. You see, look, if you do not continue to challenge you, the young people who were young when all this happened, your boss was young when this will happen. Who thought this would happen? It was only frequency.
Yeah.
But look at what has happened to today. You know, I had Celtel, look at what happened today. You see, so if we do not continue to do this thing, Ghana will continue. Look, if you look at those who launched this product, look at their background. Are you telling me that they are not visionary to start the gold refinery, go to Dubai, employ people and pay them? Of course they have. If you go to Dubai, the biggest gold souk in the whole world is in Dubai. But they don't produce gold. You understand? So let us start challenging us. Government, give us support, you know, and challenging it, and let us do it. Look, there are 3 million, almost 3 million university kids today. 3 million, KNUST, University of this, so many of them. Hey, look, what are they studying for? You see, this gold thing and all of that, they do mining engineering in Takwa.
Yeah.
You know, so if they empower you, you know, you cannot go to Takwa and tell them to partner with you to refine gold. Of course, you can do it. Just like Bryce Moore is saying, others are doing it. We need to stop it. Those of us who are friends in government, you see, we're not doing politics. They should know that they've been to school to make sure that Ghana benefits. And I remember for the future.
Yeah.
You see, these deals must, I mean, if you look at the lithium deal, you know the reason I'm here, but two brothers, you know, which is the NPP majority, NDC minority, they're from the same state of Central Region. But look at what is being done. You see, so we need to make sure that equity comes to Ghana, you know, and then, you see, if you don't bring equity today, look, it's not only this one, all the states, you know,
Okay.
NPC, oil, or if we change the scenario, look, Cyril Ramaphosa, the current president of South Africa, they went to Singapore and Malaysia, and they've learned they create what they call the black empowerment. So every black person must have 30% equity. And today they own most of the companies, you know,
Yeah.
in South Africa.
Okay. All right. Doc, I'm grateful. I mean, I'm enjoying the discussion, but I have to move on and take you to the Nat Hall because we're having a WASH, forum where we are talking about, you know, how the climate change is affecting this country and what you and I need to do. But I mean, just before I take you there, let me still come in studio and wrap this up because this is quite interesting. Doc, so should the issue be about whether me, Kojo Brace, I have the financial wherewithal or I do not, but because I'm a Ghanaian and probably if you give me something I would want to do it, I should be considered to do this?
You see, it is not about you.
Okay.
It's not about me. Ghana government, maybe the next parliament, they should enact a law to say that the Ghanaian has a right to sovereign equity of minimum 35%.
Okay.
You know, it's not about gold or diamonds or whatever. And all those who are operating today, come next year, government will renegotiate and bring the equity up and that will solve the problem.
All right. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining. But I hope that we expand this conversation.
We'll
Let me take you to the Nat Hall now, where Joy News is having its WASH forum. Enjoy this one.